I was just thinking about Wonka. It's essentially, it's not a remake of Charlie
and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's not a remake.
She's bugging today.
Guys, oh God. It's a reboot, which, so I just wanted to talk about whether we think that movie companies are overdoing it with the remakes and the reboots of movies. It's one thing that inspired this question was, did you hear that? This was a rumor, so I don't think it's confirmed. They're doing a Twilight remake soon.
Really?
Twilight, the last movie in Twilight came out in 2012.
Yeah.
And already they're
You're
doing a
trying to
remake.
do a remake for it, yeah.
And this is what I want to talk to Fahiz about. Harry Potter it's going to be a series now.
Yeah, no, I heard.
Really?
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, they're remaking Harry Potter.
Well, like a real life one or cartoon?
Real life. What do you
Isn't
mean
it
by
something
that?
about them lot are like...
Okay, that sounds bad. Real life, like...
Them lot, they have kids now or something like that, innit?
I think they're going straight back to the beginning of
like
Harry
an actual
Potter
remake.
Yeah,
I
think they're doing it of the books, which to me, I'm just like, the last Harry Potter movie that was released was 2011. They're not giving us any time
to breathe, not at all.
To breathe,
not at all.
to actually like grow up with these films. I was trying to explain this to my brother, but I was saying that I watched Harry Potter, for example, when I was a kid, and I had that when I was a kid. They're already making a reboot, and I'm barely, you know.
Do you want to say you're barely an adult, but she's
I'm
a full adult. She's 25. Like, she's trying to play it down. I'm barely. You're 25.
My point is that they're not making these things for like one era, and then I have kids and my kids grow up with the new Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
They're just making it whilst I'm still
whilst you're
young.
still very much there. But when you talk about movie companies, I just have to add Disney when it comes to this whole remake thing, because they're the main perpetrators of why this nonsense is going on. So when I did some digging, the few films, I've not seen every Disney remake. I've seen Milan, I've seen Lion King, I've seen Aladdin. There's something else I've seen as well, which is the other one I've seen. Oh, I haven't seen The Little Mermaid, but that's the one that came out this year with what's Chloe Bailey's sister's name again?
Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey, sorry, Halle. Yeah, the one that came out with Halle. I didn't watch that based off the vibes that it gave me, and then the backlash it got as well because she was black, and I just didn't want to watch anything like that. I just didn't want to feed into like the negative sort of like criticisms that was around that, so I left that alone. But I've seen quite a few remakes, and all of them have been garbage.
Exactly.
Every
the question
single one
is,
has been garbage.
Are the remakes better than the originals? And rarely ever.
Sometimes it's just best to leave things
where
they are. Bring something new, bring something unique. Because for me, it seems like you're running out of ideas.
Yeah,
it seems like you're running out of ideas because. But when the first film was so iconic and so memorable, there's no need for you to
go
make
back.
One. There's no need, just leave it, let it
so
be.
that's what I had to go into to find out. So what is the actual purpose of this? Because you're making these films, and these films are crap.
It's for nostalgia, bro, and money, because they know that people like our age, innit, they're gonna go because we were the ones that were young watching it.
You've got it absolutely right. What they were saying was that these films, like, they'll look at their, you know, financial targets, right, for the year, and they look at films that they want to put out that they consider a risk. They're not sure if it's going to do well, but they still want to make their money. So they need guaranteed films that is going to make them the bread. So that's why they continue to put out these films that they know it's going to appeal to us who grew up watching it when the films came out in the 90s, and us growing up into 2000s. It appeals to us, and potentially we're 25. Some of us do have kids, or some of us are still in that era where we're like, I haven't seen that. The last time I saw that was 10, 15 years ago. Let me watch the real live remake. Like for The Lion King, they got Beyonce in it as Nala. Yeah. They had Donald Glover as Simba. So they're having people that we could probably look up to or relate to and think, oh, they're in the film, let's watch it. They had Will Smith as Aladdin.
It's crazy.
You know, so it's like they're doing these little things to make us who grew up watching these movies want to actually go and spend our money. And the proof is in the pudding. When it comes to the money, I just told you, I got it here, right? It will make sense for any business that's doing this. I think their real first success of these remakes was Jungle Book, yeah? Jungle Book remake came out in 2016 on a budget of 175 million. Do you know how much profit it made?
Did it make $1 billion?
Nearly 966 million.
God damn.
So they're looking at that and they're thinking, well, all we did was just take the old story, give it a bit of CGI, change up the looks of the character, make it look more realistic, and boom, that's 966 million.
It's crazy.
Literally.
That's a guarantee. And then they repeated the same thing again with Beauty and the Beast. They only put 160 million into that. That generated 1.3 billion with Beauty and the Beast. And Lion King generated 1.7 billion. And their most recent one, Maleficent, that generated nearly 500 million.
Yeah.
And so they're making a large amount of profits off these films, not having to do that much work. The story is already there. They know people like the story. So they're using that and hopefully using our feeling or our craving of nostalgia to generate the tickets. But in doing so, they're creating really, really bad films.
Yeah,
products, man.
they are. And there's off of those numbers, there's a Disney original film. It's called Strange World, and it's I have a number. It had a projected loss of 197 million.
Oh wow!
Making it one of the biggest box office bombs of all time.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually on the list. So yeah, it makes sense why Hollywood would want to stay away from original content. But now I just think they're really pushing it. Like, you know, The Lion King is coming out with another. There's Mufasa in 2024. 5 years after the remake. It's too soon.
They first started doing it. I think they first started the whole remake thing in the 90s. Like, it's not a new sudden, like, you know, how can I say it? It's not a new discovery, these remakes, where they realize they can make some money. They did it in the 90s with, do you remember 101 Dalmatians?
Yeah.
They actually did the real life version. Yeah. And that wasn't too bad. And I think from there, when they do that, they're showing that this could potentially work. And then they left it alone. And they waited all the way till, I think, Alice and the Wonderland in 2010 before they started doing the remakes and figuring, oh, people are actually watching these remakes. Yeah, let's go from there. And then Jungle Book literally just took it from there, and that's when they started. But I'm getting sick and tired of them. I was so happy that this film Wonka that we're about to review, it was not a remake, it was more of a prequel, where we're talking about Wonka and we're watching Wonka, but we're not watching him from the standpoint of the other two films that were out. We're watching it from a different standpoint. You're not putting out the same movie, just in a different sort of format. That sort of thing. So
I feel like, I don't know if this is a general consensus here, but a remake is fine for me as long as they kind of maybe take one aspect of the film and create a whole movie around it, like Wonka, one character, and create an origin story.
But in saying that, right, when they said they were doing the Lion King remake, I was excited. Although I've seen Aladdin before, I've seen all these other films before, Beauty and the Beast. I was excited because I was thinking, Lion King is so cool, and the cast that they're saying that we have for this, how can it mess up? I was thinking that they will do something different. I want to watch this. I watched it and I thought this was pathetic. They used like nearly real life sort of lions, CGI lions, where the lions are talking with no emotion.
That's crazy.
Or like, I was like, this is crap.
Soundtrack was great though.
Soundtrack was good. That was good. But then again, that's another money grab. Like it had to be good. When you get Beyonce on that, people like Burna Boy, Shatta Wale, all these, you're playing on that whole Afrobeat sort of vibe. Come on, of course it's gonna appeal. That's brown skin girl, innit? That came from that. Yeah. So they knew what they were doing that way. But the actual movie itself, I was expecting to see something different. I like the idea of real life lions, but I thought it would look a bit more realistic. It doesn't make sense what I'm saying. I'm saying real life lions, but more expression on their face.
Yeah, I get it.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, it was just, it just wasn't it. And I was thinking they've literally shot the same scenes. It's not even like different scenes. Same scenes, almost word for word, line for line, and they've just put it out there. And they've generated 1.6 billion.
Are there any remakes that are better than the originals that you can think of? I have one example that I can speak for myself. Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
that was a lot better than.
I was watching that the other day. Actually,
I watched Planet of the Apes. Actually, tell like
that
was actually.
But then it's bound to, because that hit the right at the time that they put out Planets of the Apes, the remake. That's when CGI was taken off.
Yeah,
which
is
So we're on that borderline of when CGI is taken off, and when you look at the old Planets of the Apes, that looks a bit ancient.
They were people in like ape costumes.
Ape costumes, like it looked very, very ancient. Like, what costumes are these guys wearing, man? Like,
No,
I think that's when remakes are okay, when they're trying to elevate the original film with new age technology. I feel like that
not
makes
make it
sense.
not make it worse. I feel like in the drawing cartoon format that a lot of these Disney remakes are in, I think that's the best version for them. That's their lane. They're not making it any better by giving us real life CGI. Like, it's not. They've done it far too many times and it's failed every time, but they're not listening. And the reason why they're not listening, because they know people are still going to buy these tickets. Yep. As soon as the revenue starts going down for these films is when they'll get the messages that we don't want to see it. But if they keep on breaking records, 1 point that billion, then we're just going to see more of him. And we can't complain that a film like Mufasa's coming out when The Lion King done 1.7 billion.
That's true.
So, you know, I would say it is getting enough. And I think it's time where Hollywood, Disney, Warner Bros, Nintendo, whoever,
bro.
Sony, whoever you are, you just got to get more creative. Like, it's when we're talking about also, remember the multiverse, when we spoke about it last season a lot, it's like everybody's running the same ideas. Like, what's going on?
It's fatigue.
There's now a Godzilla multiverse, guys.
I'm not interested.
I'm watching it.
I'm not interested.
I am.
It's like they're working off the same drawing board for these films. I'm not interested. Like, I want to see original films, but they're scared of taking the risk with original films because they're not sure how well it would do. So they need these films to almost like counteract as a buffer. We still made money. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
I feel like I can pivot into Wonka if you don't.
Yeah,
pivot into Wonka. So I was thinking about with these remakes as well is the marketing. They don't even have to
market. No, not at all.
It's done for them. So and I was a bit disappointed with the Wonka marketing, in my opinion. I think they could have done Barbie level marketing. I think they could have had a whole chocolate factory makeshift one built on Piccadilly Circus. I think they could have brought out a limited edition chocolate bar with Cadbury's. I think they could have been putting golden tickets everywhere and anywhere. I went to Odeon Lux. They did have a special Wonka drink, but I was like, no, you should have had a chocolate stand and everything. You should have done Barbie level marketing. But that's like, I'm not saying they were being lazy, and I think a lot of it has to do with like the writer's strike and stuff like that, like about promotion, because I know Timothée Chalamet may not have been able to promote the film. I might be wrong, but I feel like they could have done so much more. But maybe they got a bit complacent and lazy because it's a remake and they know everyone's going to see it. I
definitely think it's more of that complacency stuff. It's a joke.
But no, that's good. It's good to end on that topic before we move on to that was a starter before we move on to the main, which is Wonka.